Hello and welcome, and thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Philippa Ross from philippaross.com. This is my series of interviews with people called The Pain and Pleasure of Living a Life on Purpose. Now think of me as your unconventional fairy godmother, there to keep you out after midnight so you can find all the magic in your own story. Now, today's guest is the lovely Tanya McQueen from Global Spirit Films, and her magic is she captures the essence of people on film. So, hello, Tanya, lovely to have you with us.
Oh, my pleasure, Philippa, and thank you for inviting me on your Zoom show. It's very exciting. I used to be behind the camera, so this is very different for me.
Absolutely, definitely. Would you like to tell us your story and tell us something a bit about the business that you're operating at the moment?
I have a film production company called Global Spirit Films because I believe that we're all global and obviously we're all spirit of some sort, and it's about capturing the magic essence of who you are in your business. I think the most important thing for me in business is dealing with people who are authentic and real. And for sometimes when we get in front of camera, people aren't real anymore. It's like, where did they go? Come back, because you're beautiful exactly how you are. So what Global Spirit Films does, we have a range of products for people's websites. We do training videos, corporate videos. I have been known to do a few weddings here and there. And basically anything that you can film, we can do it.
Cool. Well, you're talking about the story and being the authentic you. I was reading a post this morning from Christine Sheehy, and she was, because a lot of people find difficulty in finding the words, and it was all about, we're trying to be that corporate person and put on a front, and there's nothing better than being who you are. And I can really associate, because I used to write articles for magazines and things, and being slightly unconventional, I like the odd swear word, or using something as a metaphor. Like the other day I had a post called, Are your knickers holding you hostage or something?
Don't know, I hadn't thought about that one, but now you've said it. Not right at this present moment, but anyway, keep moving along.
I won't ask you what your knickers look like, but I looked at my wardrobe, and it was really quite tragic, and I was deluded, obviously, if I thought most of them could actually still fit me, and God knows why I was hanging on. And so the purpose of the story was, what are we hanging on to that it doesn't fit us anymore?
I think the thing with people nowadays is we kind of see through all that bullshit and lies and sales. And I used to sell insurance for years, and it was very much when you sell insurance, you put the fear in people and then you solve their problem. And that is basically the sales kind of process. And when I do a lot of videoing, I'm mindful of that. However, I think humanity has sort of risen up above the bullshit and the crap now, and the control and the power. Yeah. And we want to my gut dream is to help business owners connect in a way that's never been done before, in a real authentic sort of way. And when you're speaking your truth and you're being real, people like it. And when you're being real, you're giving the other business owner permission to be real. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to make any money, because you can be real and make a shitload of money at the same time.
Well, it also makes you more approachable from the client's perspective. It's like if you put yourself up on a pedestal, and it creates a barrier because you're some less human, so to speak, and unapproachable. I mean, I know when I came to one of your workshops 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, yes.
And just to get us out of our comfort zone, Tanya, this lovely task, with 6 strangers. In fact, I did know somebody, but it didn't really make any difference. We had to hold our phones in front of us and sing along to a song. Now, singing, as my daughter will tell you, I can remember I was mowing the lawn with the headphones in, and I'm dancing away in the garden and things like that, and singing at the top of my voice. So she opens the window and she goes, "Mum." Yes, "Mum, you can dance, but for fuck's sake, stop singing."
Aww. I think the reason why I did that was because years ago I had a self-love ritual where I sang a song to myself in the mirror. and I looked at myself when I sang the song, the same song that I got you guys to sing, actually. And it was so powerful and so connecting that I kind of fell in love with myself on another level. And that's why I get people to do it, because when you love who you are, all of a sudden you don't care what other people think. You don't care. You're mindful of how you are and being professional and what you look like, and you like all those things. But there's a whole level of not worrying about stuff. And if you want to sing and your daughter yells out the window, then you just keep singing. And if she doesn't like it, tell her to go to the mall with her friends or put her headphones on or something, So it's kind of, when you love yourself, that transcends business as well.
And one of the things that I did notice from your workshop is you got us all to stand in front of the camera. And of course, as soon as that camera's up there, we go, you freeze. But you have this amazing ability to really connect to the people that you're working with. And apart from which, you've got a really warped, great sense of humour as well. So you bring out the best in people. And you pick those nuggets, and you've obviously got all the skills where you can edit all the bloopers and things like that. But actually sometimes use it, because you put your own blooper thing up on your website, haven't you? Which really, it makes it real. It's fantastic.
Well, because I was watching it and I was pissing myself laughing. Oh, look what you're doing now, McQueen. You're hilarious, And I realised early on when I started making films that when I was I call it in my head, you're being a dick. Yeah. People find it funny. Yeah. And so part of why I came to planet Earth is to lighten up people, to humour is a release. When we cry or when we laugh, it's the same sort of thing. It releases energy and raises our vibration, just so we can be happier, really. And when I'm interviewing people, I have this ability that I practiced over a very, very long time, mainly of myself. When I can see people's souls, I can see who they really are. Yeah. And I can see who they are because I've been to hell on earth, and I also know what heaven on earth is like. And there's this place in the middle between those two where my soul just sings and is strong and can see these two things going on. And so when I've experienced that on the planet, then because I can see my soul, which, by the way, it's just this amazing, if you could see your own soul, the meat suit that we're in sort of serves a purpose, but the soul, from a soul level, it's pretty remarkable. And I'm still a human being, and I find it difficult to be a human being on planet Earth. I could totally be a spiritual, soulful person and be out there and everything, but I came here on planet Earth to experience humanity and to experience what it's like to be a human. So when I'm filming people, to be honest with you, I get out of the way and I pray and I ask for guidance from their guides to guide me to best help that person become more of who they are on camera. And it's a real honour to connect with another soul, and to capture it on film's another, special.
It's actually, we sometimes take for granted the skills we have, and they become they're just there. We are facilitating the skills that we've actually acquired over the years. You talked about being to hell. Can you share a bit more about the hell that you've experienced to help us see how you've integrated it into your life?
Well, I'm trying to work out which one do I use. I've experienced a lot of abuse, physical violence. I was in a minority group when I was 13. I kind of realised that going out with every boy on the milk run and kissing them, I didn't know what the girls were talking about, why they liked it so much. And then I realised I was gay, so it kind of made sense. There was no girls on my milk run, unfortunately. But,
when did you realise you were gay?
When did you realise you were straight?
That's a really, really good question. So
I don't know. It's something that I didn't all of a sudden make a decision. This is who I am. I guess I just couldn't work out why the girls were talking about. I love boys. I loved playing with them. I loved I played soccer and did the milk run and played rugby and ran marathons and did all sorts of things as a kid. So it's very sporty, kind of a tomboy really. But yet I didn't really I had a twin sister as well, and so that came with a lot of confusion as well, because when you have two people and you're constantly compared to, it's very hard to stand up and be an individual. And in fact, that's the blessing in being a twin, is I have been able to stand up and be me. And the gay stuff was more around the time when I came out. I've been beaten up, abused, kicked out of flats. My friends, they were going home and telling their parents, and their parents were kicking them out of the house and saying they didn't want anything to do with them. I mean, I'm grateful my parents never did that.
Wow.
And so it was scary. It was very fearful and all I was doing was expressing love.
Yeah.
So I was just being love, which is being me, and I couldn't understand why people thought that was a problem, because I thought by me being gay, how does that affect them? I just didn't really get it. I just thought, why are they so nosy and worried about me? Why don't they just do their own thing? So there was a lot of abuse there. I also started drinking early on, probably because of a lot of those things. And I had, 15 years of just drug addiction, alcohol addiction, shifting from town to Christchurch to Wellington to Auckland to Rotorua, Taupo, running away, basically. I kept thinking, when I change my job, then things will be better. When I shift houses, then things will be better. When I get that perfect wife, then things will be better. Whole range of future, when this happens, then that will happen. And it was a lot to do with the disease of alcoholism. And it wasn't really about the drinking. When I realised when I got into recovery, it was more about the dis-ease of my spirit.
Yeah.
I find it really fascinating how when you talk about spirit, and then there's spirits that we drink. Spirit.
Oh, yes.
And it's kind of like, I felt like I was a genie trapped in this bottle of spirits.
Great analogy.
And there was a lid on it, and I was stuck. That was my world. It was just alcohol drinking. Anytime I was stressed, have a wine, have a beer, have a rum and coke, whatever it was to take away the emotional pain that I was experiencing. Because I'm an empath and I'm so sensitive, I didn't know how to live on earth. I didn't have any teachers or role models or nothing that understood who I am.
Very
so the drinking and the marijuana smoking and the drugs and everything was a way of me thinking that I was more spiritual and separating myself. But I was separating myself further and further and further and further away from my soul and my soul group. And it became incredibly lonely. It was horrible. I tried everything. I danced naked round fires. I did counselling. I had every self-help book you can imagine on the wall, in my house. And I paid thousands of dollars to do all these self-help courses and everything. And I did all this stuff, and I couldn't work it out. I couldn't work it out, Philippa. I couldn't how come I'm doing all this stuff, but I still feel miserable?
What's the turning point?
I'd had enough. I'd been abused by a woman in a relationship, and that was horrible. It was a horrible experience. It was very confusing for me. And I guess what happened was a good friend of mine, Jessica Fleming, she's sort of like my mentor, took me to an AA meeting, and I only went because she was American, and I just wanted to shut her up because she was going on about it. And I went to this meeting in AA, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, I can't believe that my life has resorted back to, me sitting in a room full of drunk men with raincoats.
Did you actually associate yourself with these people? Did you?
Yeah, it was really embarrassing. I was managing a finance company at the time. Don't know how I did that. Just drank all their free alcohol. I think that was the score. Anyway, what happened was I came out of the meeting, and because I was so embarrassed that she was in there talking to everybody, and there were two white bunny rabbits sitting on the grass outside this church in the middle of town. And I was like, what are they doing there? And I thought I was crazy. I thought I'm hallucinating it. So when Jess got back in the car, I sort of, asked her if she could see them, and she said yes. And then we both started laughing. And I knew enough about myself because of the spiritual stuff and the stuff I'd done over in America and everything with the Native American Indians. The totem animal rabbit represented fear.
Really?
So it was more curiosity than anything. It was kind of like, how can I be fearful of these men in this AA meeting? Yeah, I can dance naked around a fire with complete strangers. I can travel overseas and go and sit with Native American Indians in the middle of the desert. I can do all this stuff. I can run a finance company. Why? And so it was my curiosity that got me. And so the blessing of the journey of Alcoholics Anonymous just changed my life. It transformed who I am. It got rid of all the crap. It was hard work. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But I would do it all over again today to get what I have today. The connection that I have with my God and my soul and my spiritual side, the connection that I have with my family and my friends, and the love that I experience on a daily basis, and all the tools that I learned while I was in AA over those 15 years, 14, I've been a gym here.
15 years.
Just incredible. I helped so many people in there. The fellowship is incredible. They do have an anonymity clause in there where you're not meant to talk about AA, and I am openly now. And I left AA a few years ago now because I felt I wanted to expand my soul more, but it was useful for what I needed then. And anyone that's listening to this that has got a drug or alcohol problem or addiction of any sort, doesn't really matter. The 12-step program is amazing. It's free. You get people that help you, and then you help other people. And so it's an incredible program. But it didn't stop there for me. I think the hard thing was I still wasn't happy. I still didn't have that level of satisfaction. I couldn't work out why my business wasn't going, why I was selling insurance, and I couldn't work out why I wasn't doing what I wanted to do in my life. And I kept thinking, what's my purpose? Why am I here on planet Earth? I've stopped drinking. I've done this. I've done that. Blah, 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 blah.
It's the brownie points. I'm being a good girl now, yeah.
So, come on, God, help me out here. So it got worse.
Oh.
It didn't get better. And God took me to a place that, I got incredibly suicidal. It had been my whole entire life. One thing that I'm not good at is killing myself. I'm absolutely...
We're blessed to have you. Yay!
Absolutely terrible at it. And I had a few attempts, and because I didn't know what was going on, so then I got diagnosed with bipolar, and I was sort of like, God, you got to be joking! Another label, as long as I can get funding from it, I don't care. No, I'm just joking. I couldn't work it out, and it was in that process of darkness of being diagnosed with bipolar. I was living on my own in Ponsonby. I couldn't dress, I couldn't shower. I was telling people to leave me alone. My bank account just emptied out, and I was just a mess. I was asking my friends, could they please go and get some drugs and kill me, because I want to go back to where I came from, because this place I don't like it. I can't drink. It was just really, it was a horrible place. And so when I got diagnosed with bipolar, the process and the journey of that, again, was another amazing journey. And it was the people that came into my life, I call them earth angels, that supported me, that taught me, that loved me more than I've ever experienced before, and taught me how to do basically basic self-care, how to get up in the morning, when to go to bed, what to eat, the exercise thing, obviously, I'm still not 100% on that, but you can't do everything at once. And they nurtured, the team of people came in and nurtured me back to wellness. And it was another level of expansion for my soul. And it was in that process that Global Spirit Films was born. So I used to sell insurance, and now I'm making movies. And it was that going to that rock bottom that, needed to get some stuff out of there. That's Kachina, my little Kachina. That's her tail. So, and I know this is quite personal, what I'm saying, and it's not very business-like. At the same time, it's my story. And I am the person I am today, and I love life so much because, like I said, I've been to hell on earth. And when you've experienced a lot of that, at the same time of experiencing that, magic happens. Something incredible happens at the same time. So for me, the suicidal stuff was, when I was suicidal, I was connected to God, because when you're close to death, you're close to where you come from. Right. And I liked it. I actually like feeling miserable. I actually like feeling depressed. I like feeling victim-y. I like feeling all those horrible feelings, believe it or not. And it's a bit hard to sort of say it, but I enjoyed in that space because I felt like I was close to God. So over the past 7 years, I've learned how to do that in a different way, in a more honouring way of me and who I am, but also honouring all the people that are around me. And it's, I could get joy out of looking at a blade of grass.
So you've had a number of, you've been through hell and back, as you say, and you've made a number of attempts on your life. What was it that motivated you to keep going and actually not take that extra pill, that extra bottle, and see? Because if you were, I'm not saying you weren't serious, but if there was, you obviously were not meant to leave this world yet. So what can you identify anything in your journey that was inside you that stopped you from killing yourself or helped you to motivate you to keep on living?
It wasn't me.
Oh.
I think the bottom line is it was something bigger than me that did want me here and kept saying, you've got some, everybody has got something to do. And it doesn't really matter what it is. For me, I just wanted to get away from the pain. The killing myself wasn't really wanting to leave the planet. It was just like, there's this emotional pain going on. I don't know how to cope with it. I just want to get out of this meat suit and be, but unfortunately, in the spiritual world, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, Earth is an amazing place. It's like this incredible movie that we can create what we want and how we want it. And I didn't want to miss out on that. I just didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know all those basic things from, obviously not being taught as a child or whatever. It doesn't matter what the past was. It just matters. I think it's a choice. And when you take responsibility for yourself, it's hard work.
Yeah, yeah.
When you know why you're here on planet Earth and what you came here to do, you don't have that, oh, what's my purpose anymore? When people say, I don't know what my purpose is, I say, great, enjoy it. Because when you find out what it is, then you've got to take action and actually do it because you know.
But on the other hand, I think that a lot of people get hung up on the word having a purpose as if it has to be some major mission, life-changing something or other. And that's why I've called this series On Purpose, because you're making a conscious choice to do what lights your fire, floats your boat, whatever you want to call it, sort of thing. And it's fascinating to hear everybody's different stories as to how they got there. So why filming? If you've come from a sales background, why filming? How did you get into photography or filming?
Well, it was sort of by accident, really. It wasn't something that I said, right, okay, I'm going to be a filmmaker and do this, and I've got it organised and planned, and this is the steps I'm going to take and the goals I'm going to achieve. It wasn't like that at all. All I knew that I was selling insurance and I wasn't happy. All I knew that was something more for me, and I didn't know what it was. So with AA and with some of the spiritual stuff I've done, one of the things I've learned is about how to let go. Just let go of it and you will be shown. And so when I was really unhappy, I thought, I made a movie of my 40th birthday and everybody watched it and they loved it. And they said to me, oh, you're really good at this. And how'd you do it? And it was like, well, how do you vacuum the floor? It was so easy to me to do that. So I thought, now I have heard some successful people saying when something's easy, follow that rather than hard work. So I followed the easy line, and I booked myself into a diploma in filmmaking at SAE in Parnell. And I guess when I made my first movie, short film, Beautiful Soul, and I started doing it, I was just in heaven, Yeah. It was the synchronicity moments that happened, the ease of it. It was hard work. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but then it was the easiest thing I've ever done. So
you made a commitment to yourself. You say it was hard work. Was it the actual learning or sticking to it and committing to yourself? What was it?
No, it wasn't about commitment at all. I didn't need commitment because I was on purpose.
Yeah.
You don't need to commit to it. It just happens and you just do it. It's not for me, it wasn't a decision. It's just something that just happened. And the hard work was, what I mean is it's incredibly complicated making a movie. You got to think about the sound and the lights and the actors and the editing and the cuts and, it's compared to insurance on one piece of paper.
Yeah.
If you died, you want 500,000. Yes, no, simple, So I probably should say complicated more than hard work.
Well, one of the things I hear in there, it's there's a lot of people miss those, like that conversation you had. There wasn't a mistake that you made your movie, and it's actually listening and increasing the awareness of all the stuff we have done and where we found the joy in our life. And I think a lot of people are looking, still looking for that happiness and setting those goals and all the rest of it, but actually let go and look at what you've got, the magic ingredients of what you've already got, and then use those like a puzzle and piece them together. Would you say?
Yeah, I think people, I've filmed so many soul pop movies now, and I ask people, why do they come to planet Earth? What's their purpose? And I'll be honest with you, everybody says the same thing.
Right.
So everybody's purpose is exactly the same. They came here to uplift, inspire. It's all to do with humanity. It's all to do with making our world a better place, basically. Every single person, doesn't matter what occupation they do. So I would say instead of focusing on your purpose, focus on the occupations that you're doing. So one occupation is me making movies. Another one is me cooking. Another one is me being with my friends. Another one might be me mountain biking, when I get there. Another one is, whatever occupation it is, spending time with my friends, doing my artwork, doing whatever, and what brings you joy in those occupations. And so now I'm able to have these bubbles in my life. One occupation is playing with my cat Kachina back there. If it brings me joy and I'm happy and it's been kind to me and other people, I keep doing it. And that's what I did with the filmmaking, and that's where my business grew from that space. Yes, you still need intentions. I call them intentions instead of goal setting. And you still need structure. I need structure because I'm creative and I'll never get anything done if I didn't have that. And because I get 1,000,001 ideas now.
Yes. Yeah.
And so for me, I just continue to listen to my intuition.
Yes.
And so I have to listen to what that is what guides me in my life. It says go left, I go left. If I go right, I go right. And intuition is like inside training, like you're training on the inside, intuition. And so I strengthen that up. And the way that I strengthen it is I listen to it and act on it. And I get a pretty big message. When I don't listen to it, life turns to crap when I decide to do what I want in my head.
I hear what you're saying about the intuition. It's just made me think of my own relationship with God, because I went to a convent when I was 11 till 13, full of my teenage years anyway. And it was the Bible, the man on the throne sort of thing was thrown down my throat. And so I have this big thing about God, but it's over the years and the work that I've done, it's about that perspective. And for me, I see God as my guide of direction. And there's an anagram there. And actually, I had this major revelation this morning before we got online. I had disconnected from myself, my own guide, and I had used what other people's perception of what God is, and that had separated me from me.
It's exactly the same as the bottle. drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Whatever separates you from yourself,
Yeah.
it's not kindness, and it's not real. It's a lie. It's false.
Yeah.
Fear is useful. I don't even say fearful. So you might separate yourself from God because you're a Catholic, or you might separate yourself from God because you're an alcoholic. To me, it's exactly the same thing. That's just, alcohol. Catholics can cause harm to people. Alcoholics can cause harm to people. Let's get real here. It doesn't really matter. For me, I don't care how people express themselves. I guess that's the gift of being gay, is I don't care how you express yourself sexually. I don't care how you express yourself and what clothes you wear and who you are. It's just like, as long as you're being true to who you are, that is my wish for humanity. Because can you imagine if we were all true to ourselves, that we didn't worry about what other people thought. We just did with kindness and love and intention, and listen to our intuition and our hearts. How much better Auckland would be. let alone the planet,
Yeah.
It's like, maybe people might let me drive the way that I drive, or, my biggest emotional key or measure is how I'm driving.
Oh, really?
So if I'm in my car and I'm getting really shitty with people, I pull it in. I turn on ABBA or something on my stereo, or I do something because I'm not in a good space.
Yeah.
If I'm driving along and I'm not worrying about what other people are doing on the road, I'm just sitting in the traffic and it's not an issue or anything, I'm in a good space.
Yeah.
As soon as I go, get out of the way, or, I start racing or whatever, that's my emotional indicator to chill out, Tanya. And
your emotions are actually driving you. They've taken over.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, and it's tuning in, isn't it? It's amazing how that increased awareness really, really helps us go, okay, I acknowledge this. Don't label it as good or bad. It's just like, okay, thank you. What can I do now to uplift myself? And you turn the radio on. Music is a great thing for transporting us to a different world, isn't it? And just getting all the chords jiggling.
Yeah, when I get a bit sort of, I just say, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And it's a really good thing to say. Someone said that to me years ago, and I use it. So when I get triggered, or and it gives me a bit of space for my little tiny bear to be looked after in a safe environment, and it gives my adult Tanya or the rationale to cope with whatever's happening. I just say, isn't that interesting? And it's really centers me for me to, because I don't know about you, but I find myself fascinating. I mean,
Yes.
I just go, I can't believe what you just said, what you just did, where you've been, who you've been with. I just, life's incredible. And I can't even imagine what I'm going to do in the next 10 years. Well, I can, because I know what I'm going to do, but it just, I get really excited about life. And I never used to.
And for me, it's just, I like you as a creative, but you don't have to be creative. It's just actually opening yourself up to.
Everybody's creative.
For me, it's about that connection. I call it personal intelligence, and it's really our connection to the cosmic intelligence. It's like a phone line, basically. And if you are doing stuff that fills you up, it actually makes the clarity of that connection that you have, and so you're able to receive more information, and it just kind of pours down, and then you've got things coming right, left and center. And it's actually, as an earth person, it's like going, okay, help me manage this and put them here in order. I've got books and things all over the place and ideas and things like, and then they capture your attention as and when you need them, without thinking too much. Because nowadays, particularly at 54, I have to write things down because they go really quickly.
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing is getting myself out of the way.
Yeah.
So when you have the ability to get out of the way and to listen, that's all you need to learn. You don't need to remember anything, or when you channel, I channel all the time. I get movie pictures, I get ideas. I can be walking along the road going, oh, this would be a good shot somewhere. And if I tried to keep that in my brain, I'd go insane.
Insane enough.
And I'll tell you a little secret about writing stuff down. It's like you'll never forget, and I know that because 15 years ago, well, not way longer now, I wrote a business plan called Global Spirit. And on that business plan, it had to do with the internet, and it was connecting people in a way that's never been done before. And I started putting this business plan together, and my friends were saying, "What are you doing, Tanya?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I need to set up a business. It's something to do with the internet, but I don't know what it is." And everyone was saying, "It's not going to work. You're not going to make any money from it." And so I kind of got a message to park it. So I did. And so then 15 years later, when I'm sitting in my animation class at film school, and we had to do an animation for a film production company, and we had to come up with a name for it, I thought, "Oh, what am I going to use? What am I going to call my film production company?" And I went, "This is for a school assignment, right?" So I went, "Oh, I know, Global Spirit Films." And boom, it was landed. And now when I look back on that business plan, it's exactly the same as what I've got now. And so when I look back on my writings, and it's a really useful thing to do, everything happens in the perfect divine timing, not my timing.
Yes.
And so I learned that I'm continually learning it. And it was amazing to look back on that. And so now when I get an idea, I don't panic as much. I just think, wow, am I meant to do anything with this right now? And if there's no energy around it, I just go, "Thank you, and you can please store it." And then at the right time, it comes out. And, still write it down. I'm not saying don't write your ideas down. But the way I've got 1,000,000,001 ideas. And so they kind of, at the moment, my thing is staying focused.
Yes.
And so the power of focus is really important. Otherwise, I'll have all these ideas, work on them all over the place, and by the time I'm 80, go, "Oh shit, I've got regrets," and die. Well, I want to be a bit older than 80 now. But now what I do is I have these ideas, and I read this book. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's called The Power of Focus, and it's so important. But like whatever you focus on is what you get in life. And so if you focus more on it and practice more on it, you get good at it. I mean, I used to run a finance company, for crying out loud. Don't know how I did that, but I did. And I have done, run retail stores, and I've had my own business in mortgage brokering, insurance brokering, and financial planning. And I failed miserably at maths at school. I hated numbers and stuff. So I'm also a qualified counsellor and numerologist. So I've done numerology readings for years. Because that connects me to me when I'm doing that work. And that's part of Tanya that will be coming out a little bit more. Watch the space.
You're talking about failure there and your maths, and it's funny and it's not funny, because I failed English language 6 times at school. In fact, I tried 3 different boards, and they just told my mother I was illiterate. And I also wanted to be a vet and stuff, but I failed biology, chemistry, and physics. Now I write about the sciences and quantum physics, and it doesn't happen. It happens for a reason, and that's the whole point. Is like looking at the magic in the pain, looking back on your stories and saying, that was happened for a purpose, to help you live your life on purpose.
And I think when something happens to you and you don't do it, when a teacher says you're useless or your parents this, and what we do is we sit in the blame of blaming them for not listening to us and our skills, where in fact, my belief is that you weren't meant to do that at that time in your life. That you're meant to do it when you're 50 or 60, not back here.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any resentments about my past anymore, because I can see that it's everything that happened for a reason, and continues to do so. Yeah. So when I have something happening in my life right now, I kind of know, I don't look at it as good or bad. I just go, "Thank you, God. Please show me what it is about the situation that you're teaching me to expand my soul to be better Tanya McQueen." In whatever way that is, I don't know what it is. And sometimes those experiences are incredibly painful, and I'll cry at night, and I'll bring up my friends, or I'll drive my car really horribly, or I'll eat a bag of chips with chocolate, or I'll do self-sabotage things and everything. But I'll get into the line pretty quickly. I don't stay there like I used to. I just go, okay, I'm allowed to have a meltdown, it's fine. And just nurture myself. It's being kind to myself, whether I'm happy or whether I'm sad, so to speak. And so timing, there's no such thing as time in the spirit world.
I was talking to Philippa yesterday, and she's just written a book, and the lesson she's just learned, well, for the second time, is about time in this world. If it's not meant to happen, because she lost the script for her book 4 times. And last weekend, she was meant to launch it in Hamilton, and all the pages were all asked about tit. And so she came up with this amazing idea that she had 100 books printed. So she cut all the pages out of these books, and at the exhibition she said, take a leaf out of my book, and gave people, they chose a page, and that was the message for them. So it was like 10,000 different leaflets, and how she repurposed it. And it was just knowing that time on this planet, it doesn't exist.
Well, and also mistakes aren't mistakes. They're this gorgeous opportunity to unpack something, to have a look at, that expansion again.
Yes.
And so, I used to be terrible. I'm still a bit of a perfectionist. Not a bit, quite. But when I make a mistake, I don't get so wound up as much now. I don't go, oh my God, I made a mistake, and what am I going to do? I just go, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Let's refilm that. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
And always, every single time, whatever it is I'm filming, if I've made a mistake and I've refilmed it, the retake or the fix-up is way better than what I would have originally planned and organised. So, because I've experienced, I think that's what wisdom is. When you experience these things, emotional wisdom and emotional intelligence, then it makes life a lot easier on planet Earth. As I can imagine the people that will be watching this will be highly evolved spiritual beings and empaths. I would imagine, knowing you, that's what that's what you're like. And so my teachers say that we come to Earth School because Earth School is a school. This is where we come to learn.
One of my favourite quotes is from Aristotle, is knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And for me, that it's like helping people, because school on this earth, per se, as we have it, the school education system, that is one of my soapboxes. It doesn't prepare us to live on earth, and the education that we get from it does not help us connect to the intelligence that we already have and help us expand it, does it?
No, and it never will, because that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it, schools were set up in the industrial industry to get rid of kids off the streets. Yeah. So it was not set up to teach kids how to be human beings. It was set up to read, write, and so that their parents could do, go to the mines and all that sort of stuff. So you got to look at their history and the purpose of why things were set up. Yeah. Now, it may change over time. Yeah. I just think rather than focusing on that and complaining about it, moaning about it, let's just set something up here. Yeah. Now, all these business people, including myself, imagine if we learnt the stuff that we're learning now as women in business in school. Yeah. But then also I think to myself, okay, imagine if we did do that for our children. But then I think, well, would I change my life? Would I be who I am if I got taught all that when I was back at school? Probably not. I wouldn't be the crazy nutter Tanya McQueen that I am today if I hadn't experienced some helly shit.
Yes.
And so I can't avoid the shit and the hell and the horrible things and whatever it is. Whatever your thing is, don't worry about it. Just take responsibility and learn the lesson, the flip side of it. If it's a bad thing, there's a good thing. If they've got a good thing going on, there's something bad going on. It just does this. So I kind of, I'm mindful of trying to make the world a better place and all full of peace, and that it's not, if you look at Mother Earth, there is a winter, there is a summer, there's a spring, there's an autumn. We have cycles all the time. Yeah. We're not just in winter all the time. We're not just in summer all the time. Every single day, guess what? The sun disappears and it's nighttime for us to sleep, for us to go into our bear cave, for us to have our dream time, and then we wake up in the morning and it's a new beginning. Every single day is a new beginning, a new start. So when I look at my whole life, that's what my life has to be. It has to be in these cycles, not a linear process where we're just going to ascension. And I don't know, I just get a bit frustrated with some spiritual people when they're going, I'm now 7D, all those 3D people over there, we're going to wake them up because there's so much judgment in it. It's just the same as a church. Yeah. It's like, don't worry about ascending, because when you die, I can tell you this right now because I've been close to death, you'll ascend just like that.
Yeah.
You'll ascend to your higher self, God. You'll go wherever you're meant to go. But we can still have amazing experiences as these amazing, powerful spiritual beings that we are. And so I don't think we need to, I don't work on my spirituality, so to speak. It just happens when I work on the emotional stuff in my, like I don't do prayer and I pray, sorry, I should say. I don't do meditation. Meditation to me is just something, I can't sit still and listen. So meditation is just focusing on something and being in the present moment.
Well, again, for me, words are magic in themselves because they have their own energy, but it's really about your own perception about what meditation is. Now, a lot of people do sit still and do it, but other people can't sit still, but you can still meditate. To me, it's about being mindful as well and aware. It's just expanding, and don't get stuck in these pockets and what meditating means. It's like looking outside the much bigger picture as to the purpose behind it.
Well, to me, it's just like, find what works for you. Like I spent the last 7 years trying different things. Someone said, why don't you do this? So I do that. I don't like it. Then if I don't like it, just stop doing it.
Let go.
I mean, I don't get it when people go, I've got to go to the gym or I've got to do this. And it's like, well, why are you doing it, for crying out loud? Somebody said to me ages ago, find something that you love and you're passionate about and exercise, and do that exercise. Don't do something because you feel you have to or you should or it's unenjoyable. I just don't get why I seriously don't get why you would do that. And so for me, meditation, I might listen to a guided meditation. I might just sit peacefully, quietly. I go for a walk at most mornings and I listen to my Walkman. I listen to my music. Sometimes I take them out and I hear what's going on. I'm 80% deaf as well. So I've just got brand new hearing aids, which is so exciting. So I get to actually hear my world and my movie and stuff like that. But I guess when, like, I do numerology as well, and when I do the readings to people and I explain to them about their destiny number, like why did they come to Earth, what did they come here to learn, what's their soul number, what's their personality number, and then their life path number, which is how are they walking that from birth to death, and that gap there. When you know that about yourself, then it doesn't matter what you're doing or being. It's hard to sort of explain. You just be it. And how I express that is making movies, is teaching people, and now I'm going to start expressing it in different ways. And
can you enlighten us, because I would say you told us a little bit about your numerology that you're expanding in, so I know your business is expanding. What's around the corner, or are you keeping it secret?
Well, it's not really a secret. I've like I said, I was a qualified counsellor, and I ran women's workshops and did what's called the medicine wheel, which is a Native American Indian to help us keep in balance and sync and emotional well-being. And I've been into the desert, New Mexico, and connected to land over there. And so I'll be teaching at a different level. I'll be teaching people about how to connect to themselves, basically. I was really, really unhappy for very, very many, 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 many years. And I know that when I connected to that quiet stillness place, this bit in the middle that I call, I'm not in it all the time.
No.
I'll flip into extreme happiness, and I'll flip into, because I'm bipolar, so I'm going to. And I flip into depression and everything, but I know that I'm in there because I have a sense of what this place is, this place, the centre. And so I want to help other women feel what it's like to be who they are and experience it. So when I teach, it's very experimental. It's not just, talking and all that sort of stuff. So I take them on a journey. I would call myself shamanic. I'm a shamanic healer. So I take people on journeys to their soul, and when you're in your soul and you see it and you know it, I don't know, just it's a fucking cool feeling being on planet Earth, being in your soul.
Absolutely.
And the spiritual The spiritual stuff is like blah, but I will use movie making and the power of movie making in the course. So you'll get to make 4 movies. That's a personal development tool. I know that when the brain doesn't know the difference between seeing something and actually imagining it,
Yep.
you have the same experience. So therefore, I'm going to expand that. For people, and it's motivational movies for themselves. I think the biggest thing about a soul pod movie that I absolutely adore and love and everything is that when the business owner has their soul pod movie, and sometimes in business, well, I'll speak for myself, I feel a little bit flat. Like I said, sometimes I'm not always in that centre, and I sort of think, why am I doing this again? And so I rewatch my soul pod movie and I go, oh my God, I'm amazing.
Yes.
I'm beautiful. I'm stunning. I'm an attractive woman. I know my stuff. I'm deeply spiritual. I know Mother Earth. I'm technical. I'm professional. I'm all these amazing things I see reflected back to me. It's the best motivational tool ever. Is my soul pod movie. I don't need somebody else to tell me how great, wonderful I am. Oh wow, actually, that's nice too.
That's good. Yeah,
that's a lie. I do like that. But when you watch yourself telling yourself why you came to planet Earth and what you came here to do, that inspires me.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the course. I want everybody to have the capacity to film themselves and make their own movies and inspire themselves with that.
Oh.
In a grounded way, using the cycles of Mother Earth, and I'm a teacher and a healer. Like we all teach and heal in our many different ways. So I'm just really excited. It's going to be something that will probably be starting off next year. But this year I'm putting together an online course on how to film yourself. And that's got a spiritual aspect too, because I talk about what is sound, not just here's the sound equipment, this is what you do. It's like, do you understand the frequency and vibration, which is what numerology is, a frequency and vibration of a certain
number. The other thing is, because actually we are light beings and we are sound itself. We have our own vibration, and because of all the stuff that's been going on in the world, they've dumped shit on us and we've lost track. It's hard to tune into ourselves on our own vibration. So it's a matter of letting it go and tuning in and finding our own vibration, becoming uplifting, and then we become higher and higher and higher. We can expand ourselves and connect and can share the wonderful knowledge of being at one. So
it's also about going lower and lower and lower. So you're talking about higher and higher and higher. Well, the biggest lie in religion is that you look up to pray, that God is up there. What we have on our feet, we call them souls, the soles of our feet. And the soles of our feet rest on the planet. The strength, our soul comes from down here, our spirit comes from up here, and our heart is in the centre.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going up, and it's like that's what they want you to do. They conspiracy theory, but the people that control us know that if you're spiritual, highly spiritual being, and you're way up there, and you're not grounded, great. They can push you around. They can knock you off your whatever, out of balance and everything. They can control you with TV. They can do all this sort of thing. But if you're up there and you're incredibly grounded like a big, huge tree with your roots in Mother Earth and your soul is really solid and strong, you're talking about powerful people now.
Absolutely. I was making the analogy within the book that I'm writing, Life's a Load of Balls. I can do that connect with nature thing. And I use the tree as a symbol because of our roots, and we have a strong trunk and the actual branches. And if we have strong roots, we can actually flow and rather than actually break. So with all your amazing knowledge and things, what would you be telling your childhood self now?
You did ask me this before we started the interview.
I warned you, yes, but it hasn't helped me prepare.
And I came up with a really good answer, and I thought, I'll say that, and, it's not meant to be said. Obviously, because I can't remember what I said.
Great, love the reality of it.
I think if I look back at that little Tanya and knowing what I know that she's going to have to go through, it's a really difficult question to ask, and instantly I want to say, oh, I love you, you know, you'll be all right. But that, to me, knowing that what she's about to go through just fucking doesn't work. It's kind of, I guess, my soul has always had a tiny, tiny little spark that's never, ever, ever can be damaged. No one can get it. Not even the nastiest fucking horrible part of me, the abuser in me, can't get there. So I would just say to her, you know, that spark is eternal.
Brilliant. That's the magic of it. It's the essence inside us, and it's that ember. There's a lot of stuff out there that's going to actually help bellow it up or actually dampen it down, but it will never, ever, ever go out. So hold on to that. That's fantastic. What a magical ingredient we all have inside us, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We all have that spark, and my job is to spark light.
Yeah.
Spark that light in all of us so that we can shine, and that's it. It's just really simple. So I really appreciate the interview, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story, because I don't think I've never really said it.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I feel deeply privileged, and it's an absolute joy. And I look forward to having many more connections with you in future years and months and things. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you to pieces. Take care, sweetheart. Bye.
Bye.